boys only want the best of. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that pops. Oscar bait, black and white, maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners.
Oscar Wieners.
Welcome to Oscar Wieners, the only show on the internet where Hollywood's biggest night is really having kind of a crisis about their place in an industry that is slowly leaving them behind.
No. Is that us?
Us?
Jesus, man.
No, this is a podcast where every week we talk about a best. I am Dijon mustard.
Oh, very nice. And I am Jepatit Claude.
This is a podcast where every week we talk about a Best Picture winner at random. I'm Michael, he's Andrew, and this week we're talking about the 2012 Best Picture winner, L'Artiste.
L'artiste.
Directed by Michel Hazanavicius. I'm probably butchering that, and I apologize.
Is that a man?
That is a man.
Oh, okay. So it's like Michel.
Yeah, like Michel.
Or like Michael. Got it.
Yeah. I'm sort of a Michel, if you will.
You are, actually.
Jean Dujardin as George Valentine, a silent film actor who is at the fucking top of his game when this movie starts, and very quickly as sound is introduced into movies. The movie starts in 1927 and ends in like 1932, I think. Sound is introduced into movies, and he's sort of having an existential crisis about it. He can't make the transition. He doesn't believe in sound as an addition to the art form he has been a part of for many years.
But also he doesn't believe in sound as a concept. Like, he just doesn't like sound. He doesn't like auditory. He doesn't like the auditory sense. He just can't. He can't fathom it. He needs the title cards. He needs it to survive, to breathe, to subsist.
He's kind of crazy because, like, I imagine people like this actually existed where it was like, that's not going to take off. It's like, what do you mean?
I mean, people like that exist now. I mean, think about any technology where people are like, that's crazy. Think about Google Glass. You ever think about Google Glass? In 3 years, we're all going to be wearing that. That's a guarantee.
Well, the thing is with technology now, it's like the foundational shit has been invented.
Yeah.
Or introduced. Obviously, sound existed before it was filmed. But
well, we can't confirm that.
But like now people are just fucking around with like crazy, like they're just like doing like stuff that doesn't need to be done.
Yeah, I guess like sound was a very clear innovation.
Yeah, it's like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's like as soon as somebody filmed a movie, they were like, man, it'd be great if this had some music or audio or something or talking. Yeah.
I mean, there was no film scores for silent movies. Like, you would go to the fucking movie house and there would be like an orchestra up front playing like just whatever the fuck that that the composer decided. Like, that's why a lot of these silent movies don't have action, like they don't have like definitive film scores.
Yeah, like they had an orchestra in the theater, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Well, after this movie, it doesn't seem like people are trying to make silent movies. It seems like
no.
I'm curious what you think of this movie, because people have a sort of, it feels like, distaste for this film, even daring to go back to a silent time. I think they're like, all right, we get it, Michelle.
Well, this is a person who's incensed that it's silent, or is incensed that it's silent and they didn't do it properly.
I honestly don't know. I just know people don't like this movie. I think because it's like, oh, we get it, you're doing like a throwback thing. And it's like, well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I guess that there's a lot of people who are like, this is not really a proper homage.
I've seen like I feel like enough silent movies to be like, this is to me, this is a successful silent movie. Obviously, it does like some modern sound stuff.
The whole time throughout this movie, I was thinking, can this exist? Why can't this exist as a genre? Like, why can't silent film exist today?
That's a really good like some like concise way of saying it. It's like why isn't this just like there are action movies and there are silent movies and there are
Yeah,
comedies, you know?
yeah, because it was good. It was a nice change of pace, actually. Like, you do get to see, characters are more expressive, and it is a different vibe. It's almost like people are into Broadway. People like that shit. That's just too much sound. This is the opposite. This is the other end of the spectrum. This is not enough sound.
Yeah.
And I think maybe there's value there, and I don't really see why. And I don't really see why it couldn't exist back then either. Like, why was this huge transition where if you are not speaking, you're a dino? You know what I mean? You're a fossil.
Yeah.
I didn't really
Yeah.
understand that, but
That I
that's
kind of
more
get.
of a question about the era.
Yeah. I don't know. I could imagine being, living 100 years ago and then like as soon as you tell me there's like sound in movies, that's like all I want.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it goes back to what you said about like today's innovations are not as foundational as yesterday's innovations, but I mean, people have showed like VR exists and 3D movies exist, and universally everybody was like, we don't really give a shit about any of that stuff. Like, that's not the future to us,
Remember
except for like
fucking
a couple
Oculus?
nerds who are really into.
Remember Oculus Rift?
Yeah, well, remember, it still exists. It's still around, but like
Who
it's
uses it?
prohibitively expensive. It's not. It just comes down to it's really not a great way to watch it. Like, I don't want to be in. Well, maybe I do want to be in the. You know what?
I
Maybe
don't
that is
I
the
don't
future.
personally I don't go to movies to be in them. I want to watch them.
Yeah.
To me, it's so much more fucking powerful. It's so much more like magical, the idea of there is a separation between you and a screen, and somehow what's going on in that fucking fake ass screen with those fake ass people is moving you
Eh.
sometimes to like have like an epiphany and change your entire life. Like movies have that
Yeah.
power. To be in them, that's like I don't need that. To me, it's much more magical that the separation makes it like even it's like wow, that's crazy that this thing can do that.
Yeah, but what if Bradley Cooper could hand me a hot dog or
Fuck,
something?
I
You know
never
what I
thought of
mean?
that. What if the
Right?
maestro could really
Yes.
hot dog it up? What if
What
he could
if
spurt some mustard on my dog?
right? What if I could go to bat for Brad Pitt in Moneyball? And I could give Jonah Hill a little salute. I feel like that would be an engaging experience.
Yeah.
Just me, perhaps. Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm like too. This has become like the, this is what we should be talking about in this episode. Like what I don't feel sometimes I think like I'm not old, but sometimes I have like a really old frame of mind about like new innovations. I'm like, I don't want to be in video games. I just want to play a video game. Like you don't need to do all
Yeah.
that Musk,
Well, do you think?
Sony.
Shut the fuck up, Sony. Um, but do you think that comes from what we like? We're comfortable with what we grew up with. Like, our parents, like, they don't really engage in modern day forms of consuming media. Like, social media is not really. My parents are not quick to adapt to that. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
we were raised on it, so like that's comfortable to us. So
There's
is it
probably
just like
yeah.
we're just relying on what we feel comfortable in consuming, and maybe like the next generation will be like, yeah, give me an ARG for my fucking for Titanic 2.
Should we like run through what this movie's so
Oh
fucking
yeah.
George Valentine is having anxiety about the transition from sound. Can't really make the transition. He also along the way meets Peppy Miller, played
Peppy.
by I'm gonna butcher her name. It has a bunch of accent marks, so obviously I'm going to say it wrong.
Oh, in
Beren
real life? Is she
yeah.
French?
I don't know. Do a quick little she's Argentinian, a French Argentinian actress.
Okay.
Um Berenice Bejo. I
So
probably
is this
butchered that and I
all French
apologize.
people and then John Goodman?
Do you mean just all French? You all French people?
No, don't do this to me.
No, John
Don't
Goodman is
do this
probably
to
like
me.
he's got to be like Irish or something.
Jean Goodman.
It's like the director's French, I think. Do you
There's
like
a
your
lot of
French?
French shit in this
Yeah.
Best Picture catalog. I feel like it's almost they're like 25. I think 25% of the movies that are Best Picture winners are like French to some degree.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? Like we've done a lot of like French
Wasn't
ass
Zola
movies.
French?
Zola is French, yeah.
Yeah. American in Paris?
French Connection.
Oh yeah. Fuck. Wait a
France
second.
kind of dominates the Oscars.
Wait, I'm seeing behind you there's a board with strings attached to Gene Hackman,
No, no,
Emile
no.
Zola,
No, no, don't look at that. Don't look at that. It's not ready. It's not ready to be
uh,
released yet.
Big French.
Big French.
France just has like a cultural capital that maybe we don't give enough credit to. I'm sure France is fucking pissed that we don't give enough credit to them.
I mean, we give them Oscars. How about fuck off, France?
You
How
really
about
want that
that?
on the record?
Yeah, I do actually.
Um, what did you think of this movie?
Um, it felt thin, like a
Okay.
little wafer. It had ironically it did have Flash, even though it's a basically an homage to
It
a
looks
20s
really
ass
good.
movie. Yeah, it looks really good. I thought this was like an interesting experiment. Visually, it looks, it's so unlike anything that you see nowadays. And
You
frankly,
got the got the Academy ratio, the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's like the boxy frame.
yeah, they did the box frame. It was interesting because it made me wonder, like, why hasn't this been done sooner? Like, I'm surprised they didn't do this in like decades ago. It seems like not low hanging fruit. That sounds insulting, but it seems like a good idea that nobody wanted to capitalize on for some reason. So I think it has value in that respect, but also I think the plot is kind of junk. Like it doesn't. I don't really vibe with. It doesn't. It felt a little hollow. Like I don't really. It felt like it lacked substance beyond just the fact that they were going to make an homage.
You weren't like super involved in George's plight. You didn't really, did you like the romance at all?
Yeah, I thought they were interesting, but I thought it was a story that I've seen so many times now. In true homage fashion, even the plot line is a lot similar to, something that you would have seen in the 30s.
When it comes to like movie culture, I'm very easily like, if I saw this movie in 2011, I probably watched it illegally. Sorry. This time I watched it on Max. Um,
Max.
so I hadn't seen it, in fucking 12 years or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was going into it because the sort of I feel like the reputation of this movie has become like, yeah, that movie is sort of junk. It shouldn't have won Best Picture. It's like it's just the Academy jaying itself about like
Yeah.
movies. But I watched this movie. I like this movie. I won't say quite a bit because I don't like love it, but I do
Mhm.
like this movie. I think the movie is an interesting combination or collision, if you will, of
Oh,
old-timey aesthetics, obviously, because it's a silent movie and it's in black and white, whatever,
yeah.
the boxy frame, and like more modern, a more modern way of telling the story. Like the movie spends a long time, maybe too long. I think the movie might be too long, but also I kind of admire the length to which it delves into and like just sits with George's depression. Like he's depressed for like 40 minutes, 45 minutes of the movie. Like just like drinking,
Yeah.
just sitting in his like shitty apartment, losing his house, getting divorced, like watching his old movies and being like, wow, it used to be so good and now it fucking sucks. Like fucking he's like gonna kill himself. Like it's
Yeah.
all that stuff. I was like, I was listen, it's not the most moving involved movie I've ever seen, but like I was engaged with George's plight. And actually I thought the romance was quite sweet. Um
Yeah, I thought so too.
yeah, like at the end or near the end when
Mhm.
like his apartment's on fire. He's like burning all of his old like film reels.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
celluloid is incredibly flammable. So like I'm like, dude, when he's doing that, I'm like, you're gonna fucking
I
like yeah.
I didn't get that. Like he started a fire and then immediately is like, "Holy shit, who started this fire?" Like it was you. Like you lit that shit up. I don't know why you did that. That was a really bad idea. Now your whole apartment's gonna burn.
Yeah, I get that. But then I found it moving when you eventually find out the one film canister he keeps is like the outtakes of the one movie he did with Peppy Miller when they're like flirting and
Yeah,
doing like all
that's
these takes
sweet.
and messing. I was like, that is I find that very sweet.
Yeah, it's also maybe a little sad. I don't know. I mean, he was sad. He's a sad character, I suppose.
He's the quintessential sad sack.
Yeah, he was a sad. Well, it's crazy to me how hard he fell from grace. Like how much time elapses? Like 4 years, 5 years,
Yeah.
and he is nobody. Like he goes from the biggest star in Hollywood to, or I don't know where there was maybe Hollywood wasn't a thing yet, but the biggest star in cinema to he's just like like he's referred to in newspapers as former silent film star. Former silent film star tries to commit suicide. Like that was the headline, and it was on page 18.
Six,
Yeah.
18, 18.
Um, I
At the
didn't get
same
that.
time, at the same time though, I'm like, that is obviously there were like less people then. The
Yeah.
industry, like there were less people in like the entertainment industry. Um, but honestly, to me, I'm not saying it's like super relevant and like effective, but like I do think it's more relevant now because it's like people now people can fade into obscurity so quickly because like there's just so much shit.
Yeah.
And it's like if you can't adapt, you're gonna get fucking left behind. Even today, if you're not making a TikTok, you're absolutely
I don't think that's true.
gone.
Like,
If you don't have a podcast, if you're not on Drew Barrymore's show raving
which we
about
are, by
your
the way.
sex life or whatever they talk about on that, um, getting into the shit,
Yeah. Gotta be.
um, if you're not on a Facebook live stream, you're fucking dead in the water.
Facebook lives.
Yeah.
But you don't see, but like, that's like saying, I compare it to like if 5 years from now VR movies took off and then we forget who Tom Hanks is. Like that it just seemed ridiculous to me. I'm like, why is this guy just gone? I mean, also I guess also the depression hit and people were worried about other shit, but
That's fair. I mean, yeah, he is like the way George Valentine,
sure.
the way he's pitched, or I not pitched, the way he's set up in this movie is like, yeah, this is like the biggest one, like one of the three biggest movie stars of his era.
Eh,
And then yeah, everybody just forgets about him.
Sam, speak up, George. I can't hear a word you're saying. Did I did I mention this movie Silent?
Sucks.
Sucks.
Where's the sound? The
Turn the
score goes
sound
hard in
up.
this movie. The score is really good.
Score goes hard, yeah, for sure.
Um, Jean Dujardin,
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen him in like a few other stuff. Unfortunately, this movie I feel like didn't make him have like this really uh really, significant leading man career. I think he is like pretty famous though in France. Like I think he's in a lot of French movies. But like in terms of crossover to like American movies, Hollywood stuff, I think there wasn't as much of a transition as he probably hoped. Fucking
Yeah.
won Best Actor for this. And now, if you
Whoa.
shook somebody on the street and said, "Do you know who Jean Dujardin is?" They'd be like, "Who are you talking about? Is that
Yeah.
some French writer from like the 20s?"
No, that's Zola.
They'd be like, "Who?"
You're
Um,
thinking of Zola, man.
and while I don't think Jean is like, I don't think I would have given him the Oscar for this performance. I do think he's good. He has like such a fucking smug little smile in the early parts of the movie.
He's a sneaky little charmer.
He's
He's a
really,
sneaky little devil, yeah.
I think he's really good at like doing the silent movie shit, like playing up his like his facial expressions and like his body. expressions.
Yeah, you
And
could
like,
tell he loves this shit.
yeah, you can kind of tell he's like, wow, I've fucking always wanted to do this shit.
Yeah.
He's good at it.
He's good, yeah. Definitely.
Uh,
Um
yeah.
did you find it I found it I mean, I guess I knew he was a French guy because we had talked about him a little bit, but when he
Also, his name's
does
Jean.
right, but when he does speak at the end, it kind of it kind of colors the whole movie differently because you almost wonder why he's so reluctant to give his voice,
Totally.
and you're like, why don't you just like give it a whirl? And maybe it's because he's French and has an accent.
Totally. I didn't really think of that, but
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Like I think that's actually kind of like a cool little rug pull that they do at the end.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Great dog in this movie.
Dog fucking he like saves George's life like so many times.
Yeah. That dog rips, dude.
That dog rips.
Dog rips. Did he have a name? He did have a name. I can't remember what it was.
I believe it was Peppy
No.
Miller.
No, that's a woman.
No, I wish he was credited on Letterboxd. That'd be really cool, but
Oh,
he's
he should
not.
be credited.
Um,
That dog also didn't age a day. I mean, 5 years pass,
oh, I wasn't even
right?
thinking about that. I was like, do you mean in real life?
Well, no, no, I don't think they shot it in real time.
Uh, yeah, that I never really thought about that. That's kind of funny.
Um,
Kind of a continuity error. That
yeah, a
dog
little
should
bit
have
of
a
a
little
cut.
gray in its little mustache.
Yeah, maybe a little like maybe not as much pep in its step
Yeah.
at 75 years of dog age.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'll say. But shout out to that Jack Russell T.
Um,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah, ask me.
So when Peppy buys all his shit at the auction because he's
Yeah.
selling it all and he's like flat broke and he's trying to sell his stuff,
Yeah.
why does he get so pissed when he finds it in her house?
I think it's just like a pride
Pride,
thing.
yeah.
I think it's a fucking him being a man thing, probably. And she's like, obviously, she has like more money and power than he does now, and that probably makes him insecure. I also think it's like, like he met her and she was like trying to break into movies,
Yeah.
and now like the roles have reversed, and he's like nobody, and she's like, she's in his position. She's like a movie star, Peppy Miller, and so like I
Okay.
imagine it's like, look how far I've fallen.
I guess, but at the
Also,
same
I'm like, this
like
pretty lady wants to take care of you. What the fuck is your problem?
that was my feeling. Like going into that scene, I thought it was good. I thought it was going to be the complete opposite. I thought he was going to see all that stuff and like realize how much this woman cares about him. But meanwhile, I'm getting the tense violin strings, and I'm like, "What is this? Put those away. What's going on here?" It's like, and then he's like ripping the canvas
Oh,
off. Of
orchestra.
the,
I'm sorry. I think you have it wrong. You mean this to be happy?
yeah, where's the harp? Like, what's going on here? I
Yeah.
was kind of confused. I was like, "Oh, he's mad. Oh, he's like really upset. He's like gonna kill himself, mad."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
just,
I get that. I bought it emotionally, but like I do get like I'm like, guy, you don't have to work. You could just live in this big house and Peppy Miller will like be a movie star, and like that's like sick. Just chill out.
yeah,
Um, I do find just like, I mean, we already kind of brought up the scene where he's like going to kill himself.
yeah.
And then Peppy's like racing to his apartment, his old like burned down ashy apartment.
It is.
She crashes into a tree, stops him from pulling the trigger because he has a gun. And I found it very moving. The scene, she comes in,
It is.
he's like, "What are you doing here?" And they talk.
Well, he
The
doesn't say
movie,
that.
the music drops out, and it's just silent, and it's them talking to each other. There's no title cards though. And I'm like, this is really effective shit of just like everything being communicated through their expressions, their faces. It's I was like, this is really good.
I fell into the trap of trying to decipher the meaning behind it, and I think maybe I just got tangled up in my own knots a little bit. Like I was trying to figure out why, because sound is obviously it's used so sparingly and it's so important. I was trying to figure out like why they did certain things and what it meant for George.
Right.
Like when they stopped doing title cards altogether. Like, what did that mean for him? I couldn't quite suss it out. Is that like him struggling to adapt to, because he's talking to that policeman and there's no title card and he's like, what are you saying?
I guess it does play with that stuff. It plays with like the genre of silent
Yeah,
movies to
little
like,
fourth wall breaks.
yeah. People will say shit and there won't be a
And
title card and you'll be like, contextually, I think I know what they said based on how
yeah,
the other person reacted, or how like whatever, with the scene that follows it or something.
like I almost wonder if it's training the audience to pick up more on facial cues and really like lock into that.
Right.
I guess that, you know what, that's good filmmaking, because that's the whole substance of your film, and you're just like, let's really teach people how to direct their attention to characters' faces so they can really see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
That's a cool move.
Yeah.
I got a big ass fucking question.
I wonder if we have the same one because I have a big question at the end of this movie.
Okay, let's ask them both at the same time. Ready?
Um, yeah, let me just make Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. 2, 3. Why the
What's
fuck were they
George's like
dancing
deal
at
at
the
the
end?
end? Yeah,
Okay.
kind of the same thing.
Why
I
is
was like,
dancing the answer?
I, but what I don't understand is
Yeah.
he's like, nobody wants to hear me speak, and Peppy is like, you know what? Actually, I think I have an idea. And then they're dancing, and I'm like, but what is this? Is this a movie? What is this
Yeah.
for?
I don't know. Well,
What
I
is this
guess it's a
gig? He's
movie.
just gonna be a dancer?
I just don't get. And then John Goodman is like, "Oh, this is the next big thing." I'm like, dancing was. Is this the first time they thought of that? Is that what was going on? Like, I was trying to think of like the history of like they danced. Dancing was a thing, right? In movies.
I don't know if you so this. I think the movie ends like in 1932.
Yeah.
Broadway Melody is what, 1929, 1930,
Yeah.
and we all know the fucking dancing in that movie. So maybe there wasn't like fast dancing. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, because it was treated as this revelation, and then I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, are we taking a step back? I didn't realize that this was progress. I thought singing was progress. I thought speaking was progress. I feel like
Yeah.
dancing's been done.
Yeah.
So it was just weird to me.
I thought the same thing. I was like, what is this job that he has now? He's just gonna dance?
Well, I guess it seemed like they were making a movie that was a dance number. I don't really
But
know.
like, is that a fantasy sequence? Is he like gonna be, is
No,
he a
that was
character in the
real.
movie? But he can't be, because if he doesn't want to speak on camera, then what the fuck is he? Is he like this like little nymph that comes into the fucking movie, like in the context of that movie, and fucking him and Peppy are dancing and like what is
Listen,
it?
I don't know. I'm not Warner Brothers. I wasn't there on set that day. I don't know. I don't know what they're making.
But that's what I was confused about. I was like, what is this shit? Like it's fine. It like the dancing's good, but like
Yeah,
I'm just like,
dancing was good.
what is this?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know why. It didn't feel like this swelling, cathartic moment. It just kind of felt like, huh? And then it ended. Well, because it just seemed
And
like
then he
it
was
fell
like, can you do
flat.
another? And he's like, of course.
Yeah, it's like, well, because you know what? It's the first time he speaks in the movie, and obviously, like, that's gonna be impactful. But I don't know what it was for. Like, to the aid of what? I don't really get what happened, or
Yeah.
why it was good, or why his whole mood changed.
Yeah, totally.
I guess they're just gonna make a little dancing flick.
I guess we'll find out in The Artist 2.
Oh, I can't wait. God, I can't
To
wait.
to art to ist.
Starring Adam Sandler as the artist. God, I can't wait. Yeah, I was confused by that. I thought the ending left the ending was so, it's one of those endings where you just say, all right, and you slap your thighs and just get up off the couch and leave, I guess. It fell a little flat to me.
Yeah. I think same. Like, yeah, it's trying to send you out on a high note, and then you're like, yeah, you're just like, excuse me?
Yeah.
I'm fucking sorry.
Yeah, a little confusing.
But otherwise a perfect film.
Otherwise, a perfect, yeah, other than all that, perfect. I do think it was good.
Yeah, this
I
movie's
thought
good.
it
I like
was,
this movie. I
it
expected
was,
to think it
yeah.
was really annoying, but it's good.
No one has done that. in recent times. Um, so why not? Let's put it back on the big screen. Let's see some more. I would see some more. Why not?
If fucking Green Book is Best Picture worthy, The
Eh,
Artist is Best Picture worthy. You know what I mean?
I've never seen Green Book, so I can't really
Neither
speak
have
to
I.
that. But
It's fair.
I don't. It does seem like a little bit of bullshit going on. That the Academy
No, I
was like,
agree.
"Oh, it's movies about movies, and
I
let's
agree.
give that an award."
Also, there were several masterpieces nominated, and then there's another masterpiece I just want to quickly signal that should have been nominated at least.
Let's talk about him. Lay
Let's
him
talk
on me.
about it. Let's get into it. Do you
Hit
have
me
any
with
final
him.
thoughts on The Artist? You think it's
Uh,
your favorite? I think you said it was your favorite
yeah, it
movie
was my
ever.
favorite movie I think ever. Probably better than Finding Nemo.
Yeah,
Yeah, ultimately, it was like this is like Finding Nemo with sound, without sound.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
But no, it was
Cool.
good. It was fine. I thought it was a little ironically all flash and not as much girth.
I was actually surprised by the girth and how nicely the girth fit.
Nice.
Um, so the movie that wasn't nominated and which I recently rewatched, I've been rewatching the films of David Fincher,
Okay.
um, of Fight
Seven
Club.
pounds.
No, a Fight
Oh,
Club. He directed Seven though with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
it is
Of Fight Club fame, of Social Network fame, of Zodiac
Eraserhead.
fame, Eraserhead, Mr. Magoo's Wonder Emporium,
God, I forgot about that.
Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In 2011, he had a movie come out, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
That's him?
This movie is 5 out of 5. It
Really?
fucking rips. It is incredible. It's like interesting and moving and like kind of weirdly sweet. It's also a pretty gnarly movie, so
Yeah.
not for the faint of heart, but um, fucking rules. And it should have been nominated instead of fucking extremely loud and incredibly close, which was nominated that year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a movie I haven't thought of in like
That's a movie
somehow
nobody's thought
somehow
of
20
ever.
years.
And it stars Thomas Hanks of all people.
That's right. What is it? It's a
It's like a
9/11 boy?
I think it's like somebody. Yeah, let me pull it up. I'm like, let's try and figure out what's it about. But normally I pull these things up. Let's see.
If memory serves me properly, it takes place in like it's like flashbacks, right? Of a boy and his parents and the parents died in 9/11, or maybe they just said maybe just Tom Hanks died in 9/11 and the boy is
I
trying to
think it's
remember him.
Tom. Maybe it is the parents. No, no. A year after his father's death, Oscar, a troubled young boy, discovers a mysterious key he believes was left for him by his father and embarks on a scavenger hunt to find the matching lock. Directed by Stephen Daldry. Starring Thomas Hanks, Sandra D. Bullock,
Oh,
Viola Davis is here. John Goodman's here. This was
nice.
John
Wow.
Goodman's comeback. John Goodman was in like every fucking movie.
Wow.
So good for him.
Good for him.
Next up, we have The Descendants. Have you seen The Descendants?
Isn't that where they go into that cave and there are those weird creatures in there?
That is The Descent.
Okay, what's this?
The Descent is a fucking great ass movie that I think you'd like.
Okay.
Scary though.
Really?
With his wife Elizabeth on life support after a boating accident, Hawaiian land baron Matt King, played by George Clooney,
God, what a life.
takes his daughters on a trip from Oahu to Kauai to confront the young real estate broker who was having an affair with Elizabeth before her misfortune. So it's like guy finds out his wife was cheating on him, and he's like, "I'm going to confront that guy on
What
in
is this movie
Hawaii."
called again?
The Descendants.
Oh, okay. This is the
Um,
movie where Emma Stone is Asian?
that's Aloha.
Okay.
Next up, we have The Help.
Oh, okay. I remember this one.
Have you seen it?
No.
Neither have I.
Next.
Directed by Tate Taylor. Aibileen Clark is a middle-aged African American maid who has spent her life raising white children and has recently lost her only son. Minnie Jackson is an African American maid who has often offended her employers despite her family's struggles with money and her desperate need for jobs. And Eugenia Skeeter Felon is a young white woman who has recently moved back home after graduating college to find out her childhood maid has mysteriously disappeared. These three stories intertwine to explain how life in Jackson, Mississippi revolves around the help, yet they are always kept at a certain distance because of racial lines.
Howdy,
Um,
partner. I'm Eugenia Skeeterfelon. Nice to meet you.
who plays Skeeter? Emma Stone.
Oh, there she is. She made it.
I listen. You got Viola Davis, you got Octavia Spencer.
Sure.
Emma Stone's a good actor. Bryce Dallas Howard can be good. Jessica Chastain's a good actress. I just think this is some Hollywood, let's pat ourselves in the back because
Uh,
racism was solved, back in the 60s
we
shit. You know
we
what I
did
mean?
it. Yeah, this is some we did it bullshit.
We
This is
we don't
some fucking Kylie Jenner Pepsi commercial
Oh my
bullshit.
God, absolutely. The degree to
Maybe
which
not.
we
I don't know.
need
I've never seen it.
the degree to which we needed Get Out to remind
Yeah.
fucking whites that
Yeah.
like people are still racist is insane. But thank God Jordan Peele was willing to carry that load on his back.
And he fixed it. Thank you, Jordan Peele.
And now racism is actually
Now we
over, which is
actually
really
fixed it.
cool.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen this movie. I'm sure all the people are good in it, because
Yeah.
it's a lot of talented people acting. I just think it's probably a little bit like nonsense.
All right.
Um, a little white saviory.
Well, we'll see. I haven't seen it.
Next up, we have a great film. We have
Eh.
Martin Scorsese's Hugo.
Oh, that's the robot boy.
That's the Robot Boy. Another movie about movies. Like this one's about George Méliès, who's like
Oh,
hasn't made films in decades. It is so good. It's so fucking well made. Deserved the Oscar for the artist,
really?
personally. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Marty is truly the embodiment of the phrase "we contain multitudes." Because that man, he's going and making the fucking Departed, and then he's gonna go and drop a fucking Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. I mean, his next movie after Hugo is Wolf of Wall Street, which couldn't be further from
That's
fucking Hugo.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
He's got fucking range.
I like that
He's a
though.
little,
He
he's,
has different
yeah.
interests that aren't just I'm just gonna make a mob movie. Like
Yeah.
he's got a lot of things that he likes in life and is passionate about, and I respect that, Marty. But I gotta disagree with you about Iron Man 3.
Thanos is daddy and he doesn't get it.
Thanos is a purple daddy, and you just don't understand, old
I
man.
want that Thanos ussy, and Scorsese
Oh,
could never understand that.
could never. You're stuck in the old times, old man.
Next up, we have um, a film set in Paris,
Of course.
uh, directed by a alleged sex criminal, which is great.
Oh,
We have Midnight in Paris, directed by Woody Allen,
yes. I remember this.
in which, wow, Owen Wilson
Oh, we love Owen Wilson.
just like somehow goes back in time and like talks to Ernest Hemingway and like F. Scott Fitzgerald, because like he doesn't want to marry his wife. And then he meets Marianne
Really?
Cotillard, and he's like, I love this woman from the 20s, but obviously we can't be together because time is a thing.
That sounds interesting.
It's
Ernest,
fine.
don't get
People
love
were
tips
like,
from Ernest Hemingway.
no, he never did anything. He was like a totally chill guy.
Yeah, but he's also the type of guy who Woody Allen definitely thinks is like the man.
Absolutely. Um, I will say the guy who plays Ernest Hemingway, Corey Stoll, um, his performance is very funny because he like, and the way Woody Allen writes his dialogue, not to pat Woody Allen on the back, is funny because Ernest Hemingway talks like his writing is like it's very like And then I
Okay.
went to the forest and there were elephants and I took my gun and I drank a shot of whiskey and there was sweat on my brow. And it's like kind of
That is
funny.
that is funny.
Kind of a okay movie. It's fine.
Okay. Wow.
It's better than some other swill Woody Allen has directed.
Wow.
Um, Next up, you brought it
Wow.
up earlier. I don't know if you did it intentionally. My guess is you didn't. Next up
Wow.
is just because you've done it before where you bring up a movie and you're like, oh, wait, that's actually this year.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Next up, we have Moneyball,
Oh, Moneyball. Yeah.
a
Fuck.
fucking
Yeah, that
five out
came
of
out
five
this time.
masterpiece, a perfect film.
Damn. Why did that win? That's a good
I
movie.
fucking agree with you. I think this movie is so good. It's
Would have
crazy. We don't
would
talk
have
about it
been
enough.
better in VR, in my opinion.
Would it have been better if I could sort of hang out with Billy Bean?
If I could just scan a QR and be in the game, so to speak.
What if I could be a part of the Oakland Athletics?
Just sign me to a 2-year deal.
Chris
Give me a
Pratt's in this
spin.
movie
Oh yeah.
as Scott Hatberg. I don't know who that is. It's probably a real guy.
This is low key Chris Pratt era.
Yeah, this is him coming up. He's on the come
Yeah.
up.
This is low key Pratt.
Yeah, it's the story of Oakland Athletics general manager Billy Beane's successful attempt to put together a baseball team on a budget by employing computer-generated analysis to draft his players. This movie is so fucking good. I watched it like in the last like 2 years. I only saw it once. I think I saw it in the theater when it came out with my
Really?
father because he
Oh,
loves baseball.
baseball.
Um, and I love movies, so it was like a nice marriage of the two interests.
Nice. Nice.
And then I watched it like in the last like year or two, and I was like, oh my God, Moneyball goes so hard.
Huh. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a very. I saw it like around when it came out. I remember. Then I haven't seen it in a very long time.
I highly recommend rewatching it. It's
All
like
right.
such an entertaining goddamn movie.
Okay.
That being said, next up is probably out of this bunch, next up is my pick for Best Picture.
Oh, over Moneyball? Can I
Over,
guess?
yeah, I guess.
Nah, this was a bad idea from the rip. I'm gonna guess. What came out in 2011?
You know this movie. You've brought it up before. Not like you're not bringing it up all the time, but you know this movie. When I say it, you're gonna be like, oh
Inception?
no, good guess though. This
Year
that
before?
Inception was the year before.
Django Unchained.
Another great guess. That was the Argo episode.
Fuck. Okay. I give up.
Terrence Malick, one of my favorite directors, The Tree of Life.
Oh, that movie was so. That makes sense. Okay. I'm connecting dots now, because that movie is a lot like Thin Red Line.
Yeah, yeah, that's the same guy.
Like now that you've put me on to Terrence, I'm connecting those dots. That's
He's the
like the
fuck.
same movie, but with no
Yeah,
lore.
he's those. He's like one of like my five favorite directors. I love his shit.
That movie's so cool.
It's
I
like
it's so weird, but like
you're watching it for 20 minutes. You're
yeah,
following like a depressed Sean Penn because Brad Pitt died. His dad died.
yeah.
And he's just like walking around his office building. And then like after like 20, 25 minutes, then you're like, and he's like, and Terrence Malick's like, I now present to you the birth of the cosmos. And you're
That's
like, excuse me?
that's
Then you
so
watch
cool.
that for 20 minutes and then you go back to like the 50s in Texas. It's crazy. It's such a good movie.
God, that is cool.
5 out of 5.
That movie was good, but like I can't see it being a Best Picture winner. I think it's just a little too. I
It is a
don't
little,
think the
it's
world
too
was
weird.
ready. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I was surprised when Everything Everywhere won, because that movie's weird, but people
That
liked it.
movie is weird. I think that movie's palatable weird though.
Yeah, you're right. I think Tree of Life is a different ball, like because there's no plot really.
Yeah.
It's just threads.
Yeah, totally.
But it's cool. I like yeah. Fuck it, give it the Oscar.
I'd give it the Oscar.
Fuck
At this point,
Moneyball.
it's like he's like in his 80s, I think. Give
Yeah,
him the fucking Oscar. I think he's making a movie about Jesus right now.
weird.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Probably gonna be
Um,
kind of cool.
and the final nomination,
Oh,
uh, a movie I quite like.
The Blind Side. That's what I should have guessed.
That's a good guess.
That should have been, yeah.
That's also the year before.
Damn. Okay.
Really close though. That's a
Yeah.
really good guess. No, it's Steven Spielberg's War Horse.
I've seen War Horse. I've
War
seen
Horse
this
is good.
movie.
Do you like War
I've
Horse?
I've
No.
seen the movie. I've seen the play as well. I
Right.
think
I
we've
remember you
talked
bringing
about
it up.
this
Yeah.
with the wooden puppets. It was, and I
Yeah.
couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, War Horse is it's a touching movie about a boy and his horse, and it'll move you, I guess.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, War Horse is good. It's no Seabiscuit, but it'll do.
You know, it's a lot like this movie I watched recently. A Robert Bresson. Is that his name?
Resson? Yeah,
Let me
sure.
double check this.
Yeah.
It's like a French title, I believe, so I don't fucking actually know. Yeah,
Yeah.
but by Robert Bresson. Probably
Bresson.
gonna mispronounce the title, but it's A-U-H-A Hassard, H-A-S-A-R-D, Balthazar. Don't know what that. I mean,
That's
Balthazar is the name
crazy.
of the movie's about a donkey named Balthazar being passed kind of between people, and
What is this?
this is a movie from the 60s.
Why are we
that
talking?
reminds me of War Horse because the horse
Okay.
gets passed between people and is either mistreated or treated
It's like
nicely.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Horse.
Fuck you, man.
What? I'm serious.
I'm just trying to bring some movies to the 15 people who listens attention.
What's it called again?
Oh, Hassard?
That's what
Balthazar.
it's called. It's
Yeah,
called
it's
Oh,
French.
François?
It's fucking French. I don't know what you want me to tell
I'm
you.
sick of this. I'm sick of Big France
Robert Bresson.
getting into my movies.
Um, it's a pretty good movie. I like it more
Okay.
than War Horse slightly, but War Horse is good. Spielberg can't really miss.
With all due respect,
Yeah.
your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's true.
Nor does mine.
Well,
Us, this we don't matter for shit. We don't count for shit. What matters is the populace, the people.
it's true.
Do you want to hear what some folks had to say about this film?
Yes.
So I went back to the source. I went to Amazon. Because that's where people get a little nasty.
On Amazon? No.
Give me the name of somebody who just ordered who ordered a Snuggie and it just doesn't quite fit right.
Francois Melville.
Francois Melville says, 1 star, not at all like the movie I saw. Did not enjoy it, because it wasn't what I expected. Is there a different version? Where was all the dancing by the girl?
Wait, read that first sentence again.
Not at all like the movie I saw.
What the fuck does that mean?
So did you see it? I don't understand.
Francois, you really need to fucking reconsider.
Give me the name. Give me the name of Francois's twin brother.
Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre says 1 star, waste of money. Kept waiting for sound and color. Never happened. Couldn't watch it. Total waste of money. The description should have warned you that this was a silent movie. How do you not? I guess it's not in the description that it's a silent movie, right?
I don't even know what to do with shit like that.
I don't know, man.
Like, as somebody who like kind of knows a lot about the movie I'm going in to see before I
Yeah.
see it, I just don't really understand people who like know nothing. Like they're like, 1 for the artist, please, and they go in and like, what's this shit? And it's like, what are you talking about? You have the internet. You can look up like you can watch a trailer. You can read a review.
Yeah. See, that's kind of me. I like to go in blind, but you can't
You don't go in that blind.
But you can't go in blind and then also be like, this isn't what I expected. That's crazy. That's a wild thing to say.
Yeah.
Because you had no expectations.
Yeah.
That's bananas. Give me the name of somebody who's crazy about bananas.
Diddy Kong.
Diddy Kong, Happy Donkey Kong December. Diddy Kong says, 1 star, silent movie. I purchased this movie for girls' night, and one friend wanted to see it. We found it on Amazon at a good price. I purchased it for girls' night. We just got around to watching it this past Friday, and none of us liked it. We couldn't figure out how to get this. We couldn't figure out how this movie was nominated for an Oscar. Just not a good movie. Don't even know what to say here. I've watched older silent movies and got more out of them than this one. The captions were not good at all. Acting was okay, but I think the only good thing in the movie was Jack Russell and how he could act. He made the movie as far as I'm concerned. No, I wouldn't tell anyone to buy this movie. I couldn't even give the one I got now away to the girl who wanted to watch it in the first place. And that's a tragedy.
That is such a mouthful, that last sentence. I couldn't even give the one I got to the girl who got the one.
Did he?
That
Maybe.
Talk about the opposite of what you want for a girl's night pick. You're having like some sherry, you've got some chocolate strawberries, you've got some fucking Chinese takeout.
This is
like, let's put on
This is
the artist. Yeah, it's a stereotypical, but I'm like, let's put on the fucking artist. I'm like, why aren't you watching like Notting Hill or like Love Actually? Like, what are you talking?
Wow, dude. It's
I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna try to, but it's like watch something fun and light and like where there's kissing. Like that's what you should watch. Like in that setting, not fucking like you're gonna watch. Oh yeah, hey, let's put on One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest on girls' night. Like what?
In Diddy Kong's defense, I did expect it to be more lighthearted. I thought it was gonna be kind of a jovial jaunt, and it was rather
kind of a bummer
bleak at times. Yeah.
The first like 30 minutes is like fun, and then the next hour and 10 is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. So maybe not a good girls' night pick. Sorry, Diddy.
Yeah.
Sorry about it. That's all I got.
Next week we're talking Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah. I'm excited.
John Schlesinger joint.
Nice.
And everybody's talking about that, but like I can't hear a word they're saying.
Nice. You'll get it. You'll get it when we get there. Don't worry.
In the meantime, strap on your cowboy boots.
Dip those toes into some relish. Fill your cowboy boots to the brim with ketchup and mustard and just soak those little piggies.
That's it.
All right.
See you later, Wieners.
1,
2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that microwave shit. They want the shit that bops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners.